Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wrestling people. I don't really know what time of the day you might be watching this. Maybe you might be watching it with us right now. Well, it just wouldn't be right if I had an intro that was all over the place. Welcome, my name is the Nicholas Jason Lopez, and I am the proud owner and founder of ProWrestlingOpinion.com, offering you the most exclusive segment by segment breakdown of various wrestling companies. We dabble in the mainstream, WWE, TNA, we've got them. We even go into the independents, West Coast Wrestling Connection, America's Most Liked Wrestling Live, and the stuff that's in the middle too. As far as the site, if you check it out, ProWrestlingOpinion.com, we're a little bit behind current date. If you knew, WWE threw out about 19,000 pay-per-views in 2016, so we're still catching up. But stick with us. Um, we break it down exactly how most wrestling fans probably think. And for those of you who are checking out the site, like what you see, keep an eye out. As we do more than reviews, we'll be throwing up some interesting stuff in the coming months. I think you'll come to find. And enough of me. I'm gonna throw it to my bandmates here in this little band we call the RSN Wrestling Podcast, where we spell wrestling. And we got Big Guy Rich,
What's up, guys?
and then on the other side of the field, we have playing shortstop. I don't know why he's playing shortstop. He should be in right field. His name
Well,
is Mastermind Sal.
What's up, guys?
you
How's it
probably
going?
you probably talking about shortstop because the captain is usually the shortstop. So he is the captain. He is the mastermind. So
Well, we're
makes sense.
all we're all captains in our own right. We're not like since you guys are bringing up a baseball reference, let me bring up a basketball reference. It's not like Kobe Bryant hogging the ball. We're all on the court playing and we're passing the ball and doing something. No one's a ball hog here. We're all in one part. We're all doing this, all together in one what should I say group in one effort. Basically, deliver you guys, the fans, the best commentary, basically the best perspective, basically the best insight on
Well,
the wrestling world.
here's a question for you though, Sal. Since you just brought him up, since you brought up Kobe Bryant,
Mm-hmm.
which leads into the topic of today's show. Isn't he considered a basketball legend?
Yes, yes, indeed. And I mean, with legends, there would be different ways of describing legends. Is that right, Nick?
Yeah, I guess I started a fire, bringing up sports. Oh gosh, what did I do? But
How
yeah,
dare you?
yeah. Oh
Is
God,
RSN changing into a sports podcast now?
No, we're gonna stick as a wrestling podcast.
yeah.
Yes, indeed.
We are pro wrestling. I
He
mean,
just referred to a sport
yeah.
besides
Oh,
wrestling.
oh dear. Oh God, what
Oh,
did I
wait, wait,
do?
wait, wait, wait. You guys made another error too. Wrestling is not a sport. It's sports entertainment, as said by one beady-eyed, glasses-wearing dude or manager, should I say?
Well, isn't he the first member of our Hall of Shame?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Does his name
He is a very
rhyme?
inaugural.
Does his name rhyme with Devin Run?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
That's
Well, actually,
beautiful.
there's actually his long lost cousin too.
Yeah,
He
it's
runs
about
it.
right. Devin runs. He runs away.
He runs with Corny, or his nickname is Corny.
Oh my
I
gosh.
hope it doesn't rhyme with corny. Then this conversation leading a different place.
Oh
Oh, right,
yes.
right. No, no, we're not talking about Joey Ryan. We're talking about Jim Cornette, of course.
Well, being the fact since we decided only on topic shows we were gonna induct someone, I have someone to throw in to the Hall of Shame, which everyone on the show can agree with this one. Can I get a drum roll?
You got a drummer right here. Who is it?
The first member of the 2017 Hall of Shame is Cameron, former Funkadactyl.
That could be true.
She is being inducted because she is the only person to try to make a pin attempt on someone who is face down on the mat.
Yep. If it was a Royal Rumble,
And then
she
she
would probably.
also called out Asuka in NXT. So you deserve it.
Oh my God, that's it. That just landed her into a permanent, what should I say, spot in the Hall of Shame right now, which is reserved in that one wing. You know, if it was a building, there would be one section where it would be Cameron, and that would be cemented, basically permanently there for ages, for kids, grandparents, everything to see all that and be like, that was a person that tried to call out Asuka. The same person that would be in the Royal Rumble and pin someone, thinking that they would win.
Never said some of the women wrestlers are talented.
Yep. Well, I mean that brings us to, of course, we have our little Hall of Shame. Many companies have, or many different, what should I say, many different companies in the wrestling world have halls of fame, hall of fames, where they go ahead and induct people and recognize them for their accomplishments and basically the contributions in the pro wrestling industry. But let me ask you guys this: do you guys think that there's a difference between legends and Hall of Fame, like Hall of Famers?
Yeah,
What's specifically what makes you say that legends and Hall of Famers are two separate things, or should they be in together?
because if you look in the WWE Hall of Fame, you go on the Wikipedia page for the whole list of Hall of Famers. There are some people there that you just look at the name like, why are you there? You're not a wrestling legend.
True. I mean, well, here's one thing. Wikipedia, anybody can go on there and edit whatever they want on there. For all we know, they can go, put up some jobber as a Hall of Famer if they wanted to. But is there another reason why? Like, what do you guys think? What else?
Well, I think the terms are kind of interchangeable. But in another way, I guess you would kind of have to be a legend to be inducted into any kind of Hall of Fame. But I mean, I think the two are kind of separate in their own thing. Hall of Fame is just basically an accolade that recognizes names that have been very contributive to whatever category it is. And it's not even just like their accomplishments; it's them as a person. A legend is well, when I talk about legends, it's someone who could be recognized as a future Hall of Famer, but someone who is also recognized for their accomplishments as well, without having a Hall of Fame title. Like legend is kind of like a Hall of Fame accomplishment without the accolade of being a Hall of Famer. Like there are legends out there that haven't been in the Hall of Fame. Like I guess you would think of WWE. There's people out there who haven't been in there. I don't know if like Trish Stratus or Lita or anybody like that. If they're not in the Hall of Fame, does that not make them still a legend?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think what we basically can say is, I think we can all agree on this. We can all probably agree on this, is that uh, when you think about legends and Hall of Famers, one thing always ties is the two: legacy. Pretty much whatever they leave behind, whatever they've done, that follows them, and that makes them recognized and put up on that pedestal. Like you brought up the perfect example of Trish and Lita. What they've done in the WWE alone have made them stars. But of course, they haven't been in any other companies where they tried to. I think before. I think Lita was, I think, in Mexico. She said,
She was in
and
ECW.
yeah, in ECW also. But Trish, I don't think Trish was anywhere else, right?
She was
She was
she was a fitness model before getting signed.
Yeah, she was a fitness model, and then she went straight to wrestling. So, and that's another probably another area of debate too. So before we go on to that, let me ask you guys this: what makes a legend? What characteristics, what traits, what makes a person a legend besides their accomplishments and all that stuff?
Well, it is their accomplishment. It's how
Yeah,
far
it's their accolades that.
how far they've been around, what they've set out to do. Do they break any quote unquote glass ceilings? Have they won titles that nobody's won before? Have they had long championship reigns? Things that stick out as accomplishments that are not, oh, hey, he's world champion. It's kind of like it's accomplishing something that will actually like make you go, wow, that's something I've never seen before. It's a legend is I don't think of a legend as like an active like roster member. I think like when it's all said and done, when like their careers wrapped up, that's usually when they get the legend title. Um,
Well, you have this
and no, I'm
certain.
not counting
You have
that
certain
stupid TNA
exceptions.
belt.
You have certain exceptions also to that to active, because Taker is considered active. He's a legend.
He's part time.
He's
Yeah.
still active though.
Well, how about this then? So for example, with the legends, uh, so we would probably agree on this then. So for example, if simply holding the world title doesn't make you a legend, simply headlining WrestleMania doesn't make you a legend. Simply going ahead and appearing in front of a record crowd doesn't make you a legend, right? So could we say this? Like for example, it's not like okay, we can have if you track down all the world champions throughout the history and all the companies, you could say, oh, that David Arquette is a Hall of Famer, right? Because he basically, he shamed the world title by winning it first. Two, they basically give him the belt and said, oh, you're a world champ, and basically made a mockery of that. But that basically doesn't mean that he's a legend, right? I mean, in his own right, it might be because it was controversial, but
In his mind, he is a legend, but he's not.
yeah. Well, how about this? Since we're talking straight about legends, what do you guys think of WWE's Celebrity Hall of Fame?
I was never big on it.
Neither.
Yeah, I think
Same
it's
here.
yeah, it's just I mean it's just frustrating
Cheap
to see that.
publicity.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's one thing: many people have many former managers, former like people backstage. They've all gone ahead and spoke out about this. They said legends should have no place in a wrestling Hall of Fame. It makes no sense, and I think that we can all agree on that for sure. It's just come on, like
Because
you make
only certain celebrities I think deserve to be in.
like who?
Uh, Mr. T. He actually fought at WrestleMania. He has been part of wrestling for more than just that one match. He was there for multiple events.
Well, Pete
Uh,
Rose has been involved in multiple WrestleMania events. You gonna put him in there?
no, not at all.
So we could probably
But
say that someone that has a significant effect, someone that
but
has
Mr.
a
T
long
actually
lasting.
fought though. That's the thing.
Well, how about this then with Pete Rose?
He took
Uh,
on Kane. He just ended
yeah,
up on
he
his
took on
back.
Kane. Exactly. He faced Kane, and they had that whole thing, and that's like always
And
highlighted.
Snoop Dogg is in the Hall of Fame. What did he do?
Well, his relations to one certain
The boss,
active women's wrestler,
the boss.
possibly.
Or I guess some people just like to highlight the fact that when they had that whole thing with Santino Marella and Maria, he did something for that and whatever. Like, come on, that's not really a Hall of Fame accomplishment or achievement.
Donald Trump made it presidential elect. Donald Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
And what did he do? He shaved. He was in the Battle of the Billionaires where he
He shaved
shaved
Vince's head.
Vince's head, which will probably
And
live in infamy. Yeah, but still,
and he also is the only president to receive a Stone Cold Stunner.
that's legendary, right? But specifically, I mean, so we have the celebrity wing. That's one thing. Um, but what do you guys think about? How about, for example, let's go straight into wrestling. So, for example, many names can be classified as legends, but specifically, I mean, do you feel like they only have to be in WWE to become legends? For example, I mean, you could talk about a couple of wrestlers when they wanted to sign up. Let's say what you call it, they're wrestling in whatever company they're wrestling in. They would always have WWE whisper in their ear, "Hey, come to us. We'll make you a legend. We'll make you a
Will
legend.
give you more money than any company.
We'll give you money, and plus, here's the best part: you'll become a legend. You'll be immortalized because we have the platform." Do you guys feel like you have to be in WWE to be a legend?
No.
No, but I think it increases your chances.
but then you could also get shut down in WWE.
Yep. I mean, it feels like WWE, they kind of put this whole spotlight saying, okay, if you haven't wrestled for our company, there's no way that you'll be a Hall of Famer. I think that's at one point that was their philosophy. But if you see over the time and who they inducted and everything, that's totally changed. Right?
Basically.
But I mean, well, how about, for example, let's throw out some names. What do you guys think about, for example, let's say Sting hasn't wrestled in WWE. Probably,
Yeah, he has.
well, yes, actually, yeah. Well, I botched that one up, yeah. But still, he wrestled in WWE.
Sal, you're close to being inducted into the Hall of Shame.
Very close, very, very close. But we'll see. I mean, I'll try reading myself. Who
That's
else?
that's strike two. The first one was you.
Strike two.
You friggin' ruined Wrestle Kingdom for Nick.
There's been plenty of times like that. You'll see. So we'll try.
It's fine. I already knew what happened. I haven't watched the match yet, though.
Great match, by the way.
Well, let's say, for example, Wrestle Kingdom. You see all these different stars come out and everything. One time Vader was there. You see why probably he's a legend right now there. What about people like Hayabusa? I don't know if you guys remember Hayabusa.
He's the one who passed away, right?
Yeah, the one that passed away recently, I think.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. Or people like the Great Muta, who hasn't been in WWE. Well, as of this time, he hasn't been in the Hall of Fame for WWE.
He could be in that discussion.
Yushin Thunder the Liger.
Yeah, another legendary Japanese legend. I mean, you could probably take up a whole list. I think there's a whole line of Japanese people, Japanese wrestlers.
You can make a Hall of Fame just in Japanese-based wrestlers.
Yep. What about Mexican wrestling? For example, Lucha Libre. There's a whole bunch of names there. Yep. They got who else? I think well, we could probably talk. Let's say, for example, Mil Mascaras, famous, well known all around the world. Rey Mysterio, I think there was originally a Rey Mysterio, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Before Rey Mysterio Jr. So
yep,
someone there. There's always what else? The
Guerrero Classic.
Gory Guerrero, Chavo Classic, exactly. There's so many names right there. Eddie Guerrero, the late and great Eddie Guerrero. Who, I mean, whenever we hear the name Eddie Guerrero,
there's so many people you can name that deserve to be in, but they'll never get recognized because they weren't WWE material.
Yeah, that's true. But then there's some people that are making their own name without being on a WWE platform.
I can name one who just had a 6-star match.
Yep. There's a whole bunch of people. I mean, you could probably throw up a whole bunch of names. Cody Rhodes
said himself, I want to be the legend to never go to WWE. As said by Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega, indeed. What about, so right now, I mean, for example, there's a lot of indie stars. Right now, there's a whole bunch of indie stars that could be legends right now. They're right, couldn't we? We could probably classify them, right?
Big Mike.
Right. Big Mike. Jasmine Wolf.
Yeah.
Or
Amazing Red.
Yep.
Nick, you want to throw so many names out there?
It's hard to really think because I feel like everybody has had a stint in WWE at least at one point in their careers.
Usually in the very, very beginning. Usually it was in the very, very beginning of their career as a jobber. Christopher Daniels was a jobber.
Well, he was in WCW too.
Yeah. Frankie Kazarian. He was a jobber on, what was it, Metal, I think?
Oh God, I even forgot that was a show.
Mad Life. I think I remember that too. Yeah. That was throwback, way back in the day. I mean, what about, for example, for famous ones right now? What you call it? Daniel Bryan, American Dragon. Known forever. Probably will be forever. Like, a name like that, you can't forget. He's, done everything just like that. For example, Styles had all kinds of success everywhere, and he's basically, done more and more. In his first year alone, he had the best year, and basically he's, like scale from there. Who knows what he's gonna do, later on. But we'll have to see.
You could also go AJ Styles starting in WCW. He was on an episode of Thunder.
and he jumped all around the world too. Japan, CMLL, what else? AAA, everywhere.
He's a living legend.
Hmm. Well, how about some recent names right now? You guys brought up Taker. What about John Cena? Would he be classified as a
Yeah,
legend?
yeah, I would.
I don't know. I can't see him.
I would
I,
though.
I think
For
he's immortalized as a legend forever now. It's just
for what
like,
he represented in the company and managed to get through a few of the last eras, and still maintain his character and it's not even just like, oh, you can't wrestle. Like, he's had really good matches with the likes of AJ Styles,
Kevin
CM
Owens.
Punk, Kevin Owens.
Oh, Nick said the name.
Oh
I mean,
gosh.
that's the thing. I think it's his longevity. That's what's helped kept him as a legend. Because if you look at throughout the time, most of the legends, for example, they either retire, like for example Bret Hart, who got a kick to the head and that's it, ended his career, or people like let's see what that Brian, who had a neck injury. Basically that's it, 1, 2, 3. But
Edge,
you see
neck
guys like
injury.
him.
We got Edge's neck injury.
Yep.
There's so many
And
people
this,
who are legends but had to retire early.
yep, they're either forced to or they end up leaving. But
Edge
specifically,
was
I mean,
what?
let's.
Edge was what? 36 when he retired, I think.
Yep, that's pretty young. I think he was fresh still in his career and on the biggest run for his life. I think he was still like on the top tier,
He
doing what he
just
could
won
do.
the title.
Just won the title. I think there was a lot more in the future for him had he kept going. But I guess what happens is that when things like that happen, you have to look for the health. But I mean, there's perfect
That's
examples of that.
what happens when you do a lot of spears. It damages your neck.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, we can all probably agree on this that most of these wrestlers that are performing all the time, they're always doing they sacrifice their lives. One, their bodies. Two, their relationships and everything and all that stuff. Personally, what's going on with them? Like, so let's say for example, you're a legend. You've done what you've done. You got the admiration of the crowd and everything like that. What's next?
Acting.
But what if you're not an actor? What if you put on a stellar performance, but you're getting bookings for to go to like a little shop,
Oh,
and
to get like a
getting
little autograph signing or whatever.
like a little autograph signing here and there, and you're not, let's say this is after life after wrestling. What's gonna happen?
As long as you don't end up like Virgil, that's all that matters.
That's right. I think there's a lot worse things that that can happen, but I think one of the major things right now, of course, drugs. That always happens. Relationships fall out.
Alcohol.
Yeah. Scott Hall, Jake the Snake, all these kind of people. But then to see them come back up, I think that makes them a legend too.
You just go to DDP Yoga.
And shout out to DDP. But then what
Just
about
go.
mic skills?
See, that's the thing. Some people are just born with the mic skills. Some people just don't have mic skills. Roman Reigns. But then some people develop as they go along. Baron Corbin,
Yep. I guess it's
who
kind
I
of like,
think is doing really good on the mic.
yep. I mean, you can't have like, for example, like everybody. It can't be Andre the Giant, where you have just this big guy, like larger than life character, and they don't even do nothing. They don't speak. They just go ahead and do everything in the ring, and their
He said
presence
like
just
he said maybe at most 100 words in his whole career.
yeah. And he's a legend. Like there's actually a brand, like a clothing brand that's with this picture on it, and they're making millions. Like that's probably a legacy right there. You could say right there. That's a real legend.
Mm-hmm.
And like for
What do you
example,
say,
Macho
Nick?
Man, Macho Man Randy Savage. Look at him, talker. Like it's crazy. He had a
Oh, one of the
personality,
best promo cutters I've ever seen in my life.
and it's crazy. He was in character the whole time. That was the best part. Many wrestlers would just say, you know what, screw it. I'm not gonna, I'm in public. That's all right. I'll tone it down. He was like that 110%. 24/7 straight. And what about you could probably say a whole bunch of other promo talkers too. The Rock, famously known all the time. Stone Cold.
Hogan,
Mm-hmm. Hogan too.
Hall and Nash both cut amazing promos.
Mm-hmm. But then that kind of brings a little bit of a thing too. So what about people that let's say with controversy? For example, Sunny, you know, first lady, what you call it, like first actual diva, if you will, in like wrestling. And after all these things have happened, of course, drug addiction, and of course, giving like people free calls, whatever, or uh, free
Holding a
chat or
freaking
all this crap.
Hall of Fame ring.
Yeah, it's come on, like what would you guys say about that?
It really resorted to her pawning her Hall of Fame ring and then making a porno.
Yeah. But do you guys feel like that image or that title of legend can be stripped away from you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I
They
guess
took
it
Hogan out of the Hall of Fame.
depends on what you do. Like I guess I'll bring up a name that Chris Benoit. Would you consider him a legend now?
That is probably
Wrestling,
one of the most trickiest.
wrestling
Yeah.
ability wise, yes.
I'd honestly say yeah. Regardless, I don't care. He's if he's in the
Wrestling
wrestling
ability,
Hall of Fame, he should.
wrestling wise, he was amazing. Without a doubt, he is hands down one of the best technical wrestlers I've ever seen perform in a ring.
But then some average Joe could just say this: "Oh, didn't he kill his wife and kid?"
Okay, but did you
And
actually
then
ever watch his matches? That would be my response.
yeah, but then I guess that kind of still brings that message. It's like okay, you have this guy who's who
Just think it
did
was 10 years ago.
that's yeah exactly 10 years ago. That's surreal. Think that oh my god, this is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's scary. I mean, well, how about for example, recently Abdullah the Butcher.
Just want to throw this out there also. In about 3-4 months, it's going to be 20 years. Owen Hart has been dead. In a
Yep.
couple, like 2 years or something. It'll be
And
20
there's
years.
yeah, and that's another controversy too. Martha Hart had his whole lawsuit, and it's still pending. I think it's still going. And
I think
they
he
had
deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He is a legend.
he is a legend for sure.
I know people might throw heat at me for saying this, but I really don't give a shit. I think Owen was better than Brett because I actually watched his King of Hearts DVD. His matches are way better than Bret Hart's.
I think
But
Bret Hart once said that.
he learned a different, more high flying style. My thing is though, I mean, I might get a little heat for saying this, but I think a lot of the positivity for Owen just happens to be just because of the unfortunate way he died. I don't know if people would be talking him up as this big legend. If it didn't happen, fall from the Raptors on a main night. I think he was building up a pretty good career for himself. But if you notice, at the time, his gimmick was the blue blazer. I mean, surely he could have not been meant for top card stardom, and I don't know at the time if he was going to be up there brawling with the likes of like The Rock, Undertaker, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho. I don't know if WWE had those plans to put him up there, and I think just because of the nature and how he passed away, just brings up all this Hall of Fame conversation about him. But I don't know. I don't think he was gonna have that kind of set career. I think his better days were behind him.
Yeah,
But would you
yeah.
still call him a legend? I mean, I guess for the sport itself, maybe in like the '90s era, but I don't know if I really see him in like a like oh this big legend. I don't know if I see him in that light.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I
that's a
agree.
fact. I guess. Yeah.
But
I mean,
Nick put up a good argument just
No
now.
disrespect to the Hart family, of course.
yeah. I mean, it's all facts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
Nick
many.
put up a good argument just now, but I'm still going to look at Owen as the better heart of the two, though. But that was a good argument, though, of
Yeah.
legend status. But
Yeah.
I personally think he was a better wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect point. Like, that's a very good point. I mean, that's true. I mean, I think many times we kind of look at whenever a tragedy occurs, that's when we start looking at the best of somebody, and that's not to bring down Owen Hart or the Hart family. He was a legend in his own right. In performance, he was entertaining as hell when he performed and everything like that. But at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, whenever a tragedy occurs, that's when people start looking. Recently, for example, China recently, passed quite some time ago, and people look at that and they kind of say, oh, that she was basically the first woman, this that. She competed on the Royal Rumble, she won the Intercontinental title, all that stuff, and then she ended up having that dark, later on from there. Basically, the whole thing with Triple H, the fallout.
That's when
Uh,
his career started going downhill.
Yeah, and basically you saw this whole kind of thing where she ended up doing porn and all that, and then everything just totally fell out. She ended
Is
up
that
having
like
drug
is that
addiction.
like the go-to?
Well,
When in doubt, go to porn.
what about Buff Bagwell? You look at him. Why is he not in the Hall of Fame?
He
I
really
think it's kind of like,
wasn't. He wasn't really like as oh my god star.
well, it's kind of like, I think recently what WWE is doing is, if you were in WCW, you're a legend. That's kind of like the image they're kind of posting, because it's like, you have, of course, Goldberg, famous dude.
173 and 0.
Yeah, and he's had this whole record. He was built as a star, basically the opposite to Austin throughout the whole Monday Night Wars era, and single handedly helped uh, bring WCW some of the ratings and contribute to that. And they're just saying, and of course, people always talk shit saying, "Oh, he can't wrestle. Oh, he's too stiff. Oh, that." Bret Hart, for example, perfect person. He always goes at, and there's many interviews where he said, "This guy's too rough. They keep going and throwing shit at me." They just said, "Oh, pack your bags, you're done, get out of here." And then they basically give this guy all the praise. And then there are many people that say, "This guy, he just talks and he doesn't do nothing." And basically, he's in all, they're in talks, and they're saying that he's going to be a Hall of Famer because he's, he was from WCW. That's pretty much all it is. So we could probably say Scott Steiner is a Hall of Famer just because he was in
Oh,
WCW.
his promos just deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think it's to extent. I think many people, it's like, you see them perform and you say, okay, they're a Hall of Famer. When they talk, oh, they're not a Hall of Famer, or they're not a legend, should I say? Like, like his promos, for example, legendary. Iron Sheik, another one, legendary promos. Hell, right now, the legendary promos. He's not even in wrestling right now. He's not active.
I break his
He's
back. I make him
post.
humble.
Well, that's post-career stardom.
Yeah, but so let's talk about this then. What about CM Punk? Do you think he's a legend?
I can't answer that because I'm biased.
I have a call on one. Just
I
based
can't.
on his career accomplishments and how far he was able to stretch it out. I think he undoubtedly made WWE popular. Again with the casual audience. Sure, it didn't last too long, but and his career has kind of been marred by the way he left the company and his airing of grievances and independent platforms.
The pipe
Probably
bomb.
didn't gain him many friends, but in regards to what he did, and like as far as like I'm sure a lot of independent wrestlers look up to him as a legend because he went to WWE and pretty much did everything he could do there,
Yeah, but
except
I
main
think
event
it's
WrestleMania.
yeah. But would you agree with this? Some people say that he's a traitor because he ended up going to UFC, doing his thing, and then he basically kind of neglected the wrestling world. He basically stabbed uh, all his what should I say, his wrestling, any connection to wrestling out. I mean, of course, he has his personal experience, but at the same time, you're being recognized, you're being put on this pedestal. But at the same time, this guy's not like accepting. He's not taking it. He's just not saying, you know what, I don't want any part of it,
I
and kind
kind
of
of
disrespecting.
I kind of lost respect for Punk because he basically broke up his bromance with Colt Cabana because Colt was backstage at an episode of Raw.
Yeah,
Like, really? You're really gonna pull some petty shit like that? You're not going to be friends with someone because they went to Raw instead of hang out with you at wherever the hell you were.
Well, don't even. We only know one side of it. How do we know Colt didn't have a conversation with Punk where he's like, "I totally stand with you, best friend." I mean, who do these people think they are? And then I guess Punk would see and find out that he's backstage laughing it up with everybody who he promised to stand against. Maybe that's the reason why Punk let him go. You know, there's only one side of the story that's really being told, and let's not jump to conclusions here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's things can always change. Of course, there's always some kind of mishap in a relationship or something like that. There's always some kind of drama. Something happens, and it's always like like they say, never say never. Bruno Sammartino, for example, he had this whole thing with the WWE. He didn't like it at all when they went Attitude. He didn't like that whole deal. He said, "You know what? I'm never going to be part of this company. I have no connection with this. I'd rather die alone and not have anything to do with them."
Didn't he say he wants to leave the Hall of Fame?
At some point, yeah, he said he wanted to leave, or he said if they ever brought it to him, he would never take it. He would never accept it. I think there were many times where they're trying to come up to him and say, "Oh, we want to induct you," and he would say, "No, I don't want to be a part of this company because what you guys are doing isn't right." And I guess they kind of said, "Okay," shrugged their head and said, "Oh, we'll find other people." And I mean, there's other people too. For example, let's say there's been people that have refused induction and everything like that. There are people that just said, "You know what? Forget it. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the induction at all. I don't want to." And it's kind of like, all right, so that's all right. You're not the only option. There's other people too.
There's millions of people that we could replace you with in the whole thing.
Yep. But then what about this? So how about why do you think it gives WWE, like, for example, why would WWE not induct people sooner than other people? Besides the controversies, like for example, uh, legend in his own right, Macho Man Randy Savage. He had his whole what should I say, his induction postpartum after his death. That's like the only time they would say, okay, he's a legend and recognize him for his
Well,
accomplishments. Why
well,
would they do
there's
that
a
before?
reason why. There's a reason why behind the story. Supposedly, don't know if it's true or not because people say it's true, people say it's not. Supposedly, when Stephanie McMahon was 16, Macho Man slept with her. So Vince held that grudge against him forever.
Yeah. So again, and I guess he didn't want to be in the he didn't want to be in the Hall of Fame either because I guess he had some beef with the company too, right?
Hmm.
So it kind of brings that up. But so how about this then? What about you guys think? Do you think Mr. McMahon, billionaire at one point, now a millionaire, same guy that got that was fighting the U.S. government, same guy that was fighting WWF, the company that was fighting over the trademark, the same guy that failed with the XFL, the same guy that basically was in public doing all kinds of stupid shit. Do you think that he'll ever be in the Hall of Fame?
After he dies, yes.
He'll
You think
induct
after he dies?
he'll induct himself into the Hall of Fame.
But I think we can all agree that he's a legend for sure, right? Because
He brought the company up from
one,
nothing. Before
yeah,
he
that's one
took
thing.
over, the company was going completely downhill. He
Yeah,
brought it up.
yeah. I mean,
And his wife is the one who brought it back downhill,
yeah,
running for office.
yeah. Well, I mean, would you guys say this then? Would he be a visionary or simply, being in his time? WrestleMania, of course, he created it. What about, of course, making WWE the brand that it is today? But also, I mean, would you guys also say that okay, this is the same guy that was accused of giving his athletes, quote unquote, or his performers, encouraging them, hey, you should
Entertainers.
take steroids, you should take steroids.
His entertainers.
Yeah, and basically in this whole controversy, like he's been doing things that aren't theoretically right, but he still did it.
He's
Would you guys
also
still
the
say?
same person that has doctors clearing people with concussions to
Yep,
still fight CM
yep.
Punk.
would that still make him a Hall of Fame? You know, I say Hall of Fame induction. You know.
It still would, but I think it goes without saying when you have a lot of money, you could do a lot of stupid things and pretty much erase it when you could buy out everybody's thoughts.
He bought WCW. He
Yeah.
bought the rival. He was in talks of buying TNA. Guarantee you, if he has the chance, he'll buy Ring of Honor. He'll buy New Japan if he really wanted to. When you
I
have the
think
money
he's a
to,
visionary.
when you have the money to do it, you'll buy all the competition. So it's just you.
Well, I think it's basically because I think he's a legend. One, because of his character. That's one thing. But also because he's been doing things in the wrestling business that other people haven't. When, for example, Stone Cold Steve Austin, that whole character was brought up, that was his child right there. That was his brain right there. That was him putting that out there, saying, "Okay, let's try this and see how this works." That was all him from the get go.
And it
I mean,
worked.
we can probably give him the credit and give him the title legend because he created Stone Cold Steve Austin. In all fairness, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course, other people kind of planted the seeds for Stone Cold Steve Austin. One, of course, he got fired by WCW. He went to ECW, cut those big promos,
Oh
developed
my
with
God,
Paul.
those are amazing.
Yeah, basically shooting on them. Those were hilarious. And then eventually coming to WWE, having that rise, and then Vince kind of putting basically all the pads on him, saying, "Okay, you lead us forward." That's I mean that clearly makes him a legend, no problem. That's something that we could say probably, for sure. That's someone that makes that a legend basically because he's been doing something. But do you guys ever think that managers should be in like managers should be legends too?
Yeah, definitely.
Without a doubt.
So I feel like people like Paul Bearer and
Paul Bearer, Paul Heyman.
Jimmy
We could
Hart.
go Bobby Heenan. Gorilla Monsoon was a manager at one point.
yeah,
There's so many people
sensational
that you could
Sherry.
throw.
But
Guys,
so speaking
forgive
of
me.
Paul Heyman first, I mean
Guys,
speaking.
forgive me for saying this name because he was a manager legend. Jim Cornette was a great manager in the 90s. Forgive me for saying that name.
That's true. I mean he well honestly I gotta say he is probably probably one of the like legendary managers because of course Rock and Roll Express he managed them and that was something there. But how about this? Do you guys ever think that he'll ever be recognized for his accomplishments? I mean, right now he's kind of like a meme. He's kind of like he's kind of trolling everybody with his whole kind of thing and his outbursts and everything like that. But do you ever think that he'll actually be ever recognized for his accomplishments, or do you think he's just gonna end up dying like a stubborn old man, just living in the past?
Never
Mm,
say never.
yeah, that's true. Never say never. Bret came back to WWE. Never say never. Macho Man is inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, what about
Warrior.
yeah, Warrior too, for example, yeah. But then what about like people like superstar Billy Graham, who's always saying, "Oh, I'm not part of this, I don't want to be recognized by WWE for my accomplishments." And then he takes it out and puts it back in, takes it out, put it back in. What do you think in regard, his whole Hall of Fame status and everything like that?
Well, I think his name will definitely be up there. I don't know if they'll ever recognize it. Again, I think I noticed a trait with all the names that we're mentioning. It's what you do and some of the things that maybe they're
It's
not
also
too
how you do
proud
it too.
of. WWE tends to have has a tendency to really kind of ignore people and shut them out and pretend they don't exist if they don't agree with what they're doing outside of the ring.
Hmm.
Yeah. But do you feel like WWE should stop doing that and instead just focus on?
I mean, yeah, we could say, oh, we wish they'll stop doing it, but let's face it, they're not going to stop doing it. That's what they do. If they're a publicly imaged company with making millions of dollars, and I guess they would think they have a reputation to uphold. So anybody who steers clear of their message of what they want to be or what they represent as a company, you bet they're gonna pretend you don't exist if they don't agree with what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think we're wrapping it up. We should probably talk about, how about this? Try to find some kind of way of tying this in. Because at the end of every podcast or every topic podcast, we kind of have this kind of piece where we talk out some names. If you were to, let's say this, if you could take out, no, we already probably did that. What do you feel about, what do you feel about people that, what makes a person, like, for example, what would make someone bypass all those traits and just call them a legend right there? Do you feel like there's a certain path that someone should take in order to get them to be a legend, or do you feel like they'll just do it by themselves?
They'll do it by themselves.
Yeah.
Because I know we talked about, of course, you don't need to be in WWE to be a legend. You can pretty much just go ahead and you do pretty much your own thing, and you'll be a legend in your own right. But do you feel like there's certain things that you can do to just automatically say that you're not a legend? For example, if you have that last name of a previous legend, Flair, for example, just because your name is Flair, does that mean that you're a legend? You know? Or let's say a passing, for example, Owen Hart, they have kids, all that. What if they went ahead, they went into WWE, or Chris Benoit went into there, would they still be a legend? Or do you feel like that's kind of disqualifying them from being able to be a legend?
Your name doesn't make you a legend. It's what you do. Are you gonna say
It's how
Sim Snook
you.
is a legend? Are you gonna say Tamina Snook is a legend? Are you gonna
Well,
say David Hart Smith, D.H. Smith is a legend?
what about, for example, like David Benoit? He wants to go into WWE, young star who has this last name. That's kind of getting WWE say, no, we don't
Well,
want you.
he did have a WWE tryout, and they say that he was too stiff, so they won't sign him. I think it's behind the name though, why they didn't sign him.
But like, for example, let's say Eddie Guerrero's daughter. They gave her every opportunity to say, hey, come on, let's do this. We'll give you the tools right now. You can do it.
What's her name? Shao Guerrero or something?
Yeah, Shao Guerrero. And they brought her in. They said, oh, let's put you in a developmental system and do all that. No problem. You'll be able to do it. You're a legend. No problem. And then you have, of course, other people that are tied to, like, the Anoa'i family, Rock's family. If you have that
All
last name, or if you're
all
Samoan,
800 friggin' members of the Samoan family
yeah, cousins, third cousins, fourth cousins, fifth cousins.
married into the family.
Yeah. Oh, you're a wrestling family. No problem. We'll get you in. Do you feel like those things are disqualifying you from actually becoming a legend? Like, for example, without being, because one thing I know, of course, action pretty much defines everything. If you're doing something, that's going to label you legend. If you don't do anything, you're not going to be legend. So, but what if you're disqualified from those things? Like, for example, they won't give you the chance. They won't let you act, or they have certain things that are stopping you from acting. Do you still feel like you can still be a legend?
Like you said, perfect example. Just say you're dating one of the hearts.
Yeah.
Oh, this person's dating a heart. That means they must wrestle.
And if they were to wrestle, maybe they could become successful. For example, David Flair. He competed on WCW television. He was on WWE television for a little bit, but they don't have him, as a legend or anything like that. He was trying to train for it, but things didn't occur. Of course, untimely death, all that happened. But then what about people that, of course, if they have the name and they don't get the recognition? For example, like D.H. Smith, who basically, they brought him in, they gave him a chance, but for some reason it didn't click with him.
But
What do you guys say about that?
to be honest, just because you have the name or you're married to one or you're dating, whatever, doesn't make you talented. It's something you have to be born with.
That's right. So wrapping up, what do you guys think about this? Wrestling legend or sports entertainer? Or sports entertaining legend, should I say? Or performing.
Legend.
Wrestling legend?
Wrestling.
Hold on,
So,
also sports entertainment legend.
so regardless of being a manager or, like, for example, of not even being in the ring once, you'll still be a wrestling legend.
Well, manager is a different story because you're not talented enough to actually be in the ring. Because you could become a manager legend just by people you manage.
Yep.
Like Jimmy Hart. Look at his list of managed wrestlers he managed. Amazing.
Yep.
Bobby the Brain Heenan. He had the Heenan family.
Yeah. But then what about like valets, for example? Valets, all they pretty much do, like back in the day, all they did was just accompany
They
the
were
person
eye candy, and they
and
interfered in the
damsels,
match.
right? And damsels in distress.
Sonny,
Yep.
perfect example. What did she really do? She sat there, interfered in the match,
Mhm.
and looked pretty.
Yeah. So I think in conclusion, we can all say that a legend is basically your legacy, your actions, your impact on basically everybody, what's going on, everything like that, and basically what you bring to the table. Basically, what's gonna happen. You could be big, you could be small, you could be, basically, you could have all the talent in the world, but that necessarily doesn't mean that you're a legend.
Well,
It means this is the Legends. This is the RSN podcast.
we have a
We
big
basically went through all the
2017
legends.
coming for you guys.
Yep. Of course,
Big
we're also gonna have.
2017.
Yep. And like we said, we're kicking down the fucking doors. We're not just knocking. We're kicking down the fucking doors. So
Also,
more stuff.
guys, check out the best wrestling website for segment by segment coverage of WWE, NXT, TNA, ROH, New Japan, America's Most Like Wrestling, West Coast Wrestling Connection. Oh wait, Sal, we have the guy with us, right? Who runs the site?
I think we do.
The,
We have
the night that runs the site.
yes, the night that runs the site now. Yeah. It's Nick.
Nicholas Jason Lopez.
The Nick Lopez. There's many of them out there, but he's the only guy who runs PWO.
The night that runs the site.
But Nick, what's next up for PWO?
Well, as of press time, gonna be watching the November 10th edition of Impact Wrestling, which means we're right around the corner from NXT TakeOver Toronto and Survivor Series with the Final Battle, TLC, and Roadblock not too far away from our peripheral vision. So keep an eye out for those reviews that you oh so desperately crave.
Since you brought up Final Battle, Cody Rhodes, a legend for 2016, only person to be on WrestleMania, Final Battle, Bound for Glory, Battle of Los Angeles, and Wrestle Kingdom all within 1 year of each other. He did 5 big pay-per-views.
Also, I mean, there's one thing also. Speaking of 2016, you're bringing up 2016. We're gonna have our full year in review, the Slam-A-Lammies, as Nick once said. Basically, it's the award show where we just talk about, our categories, all the things.
We're better than the Slammies. We actually did it this is our second year doing it.
Yep, our second year technically, yeah. So it's our second year. We're basically talking about all the things happening in the wrestling world: best match, best diva, woman wrestler, best superstar, best breakout star, NXT rivalry, everything. So pretty much all the categories out there. It's going to be a full open house. We're going to talk about everything that's happened in the whole past year. We're waiting probably, I'd say, what do you guys think? Probably by the end of the month, right?
Probably by the end of January, we should have it.
End of January, we'll probably have that. So like WWE, we're not skipping that.
It's not up. It's mainly when Nick is somewhat towards the end of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, nonetheless, probably I give it probably about, I'd say the end of January. We'll probably see from there. But
the latest, beginning of February, probably the latest.
Yep. But nonetheless, this is the RSN Wrestling Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, on our Twitter page. It's at RSN
Facebook.
Podcast, I believe, right?
Yes, at RSN Podcast.
Yeah, for all the top, basically all the news. Basically, was it?
Before it hits mainstream.
Yep. And also, you get to see basically what's going to happen before it hits the main waves and everything like that. Be sure to check that out. Also, PWO. Be sure to like
This
us on Facebook.
is, as you said, this is when all the big rumors start flying.
Yep. WrestleMania
Around the
season's
Royal
coming up.
Rumble.
Yep. Also, speaking of Royal Rumble, we're gonna have a whole Royal Rumble review where we just talk about what's going on with leading up to WrestleMania season, the preview, also the
Like I
reaction.
said, we're doing a preview, right? We're doing a preview review.
Yeah, preview reaction. Yeah,
We just call it the preview review.
preview review.
I like
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna start there. Yeah. So I guess preview review, and then pretty much we're just gonna basically follow up with all that. Again, we'll be right here watching it. Keep on with us,
Unlike certain companies, we will not go out of business.
Yep. We're still here. We're still strong, and we're gonna keep going. Like I said, we spell wrestling, we follow wrestling, we love
And just
wrestling.
remember, we say this every show. We do this not for the money. We do this for the love of the sports industry of wrestling. We do it for you guys.
Indeed.
We do it for us. We do it for the fans. We're not sitting here collecting money off every viewer that we get. We're not charging $5 for every fucking person that watches our show. We do it for you guys out of our time, putting this show together for you guys, come up with topics. We do it for you guys.
And for the passion of the wrestling industry, just like you guys probably got. But nonetheless, this is a mastermind signing out. We got the big guy.
See you guys.
And also the
knight that runs the site.
The Nick Lopez.
Peace out, everybody. And check out PWO, ProWrestlingOpinion.com. This is another hashtag cheap plug on all you bitches.
Hashtag that shit, motherfucker.
Holy shit. That was the best shit ever. We'll see you guys out.